Ag Science 305. Hey, welcome, folks. We are in Module 10. If you're keeping track, we've only got 4 modules left, and this semester is in the books. Hang in there. We are almost done. We are into the AET section of this course, which is really the nuts and bolts here. I think you will, from last week with the foundational project, as we move into these different projects, I really think that you will gain an appreciation for the AET. In this module, we are going to work on placement projects. So what a placement, if we think back, placement means we're working for somebody or something, some company. It could be paid or it could be unpaid. And this example this week will actually have both. There are different resources here for you to look through. Just as a reference for the different placement projects, okay? And then down here, if you click on this, get our placement SAE assignment pulled up, you'll see here it looks something like this, just similar to our foundational project from last week. One of the things I want to make sure is that we get that profile set up. One of the things that hopefully this last week when you did that foundational is that everybody got those profiles set up correctly. If you didn't, you got feedback in your assignment to please go back and take a look at that and make sure that your profile is set up correctly. As a teacher, this is really critical. When your students set up that profile, this sets up their AET record book for the duration of their entire ag education career, if you would. That means taking them all the way through their Lone Star and even possibly that American degree. So if we look through this, we know that that student started ag in some point, and we can actually go back to last module in the foundational projects to make sure that we have that profile set up. Okay, so this does not go into the profile on this one. It expects that you have already done it. So if we hop over to the AET, you should get into an account to look something like this. Once you get in here, you've got that first managing. This is your profile homepage here. You can add a picture in there. You can reset your password yourself, and then you've also got all these different demographic information options here that you can add in. Okay, this is helpful, especially as an ag teacher. These contact information pieces can be transported, but can also be used in other aspects. Once you get into the Ag Science 405 class, we'll show you some of those teacher tools with the contact information where you can actually push through AET notifications and messages to your members. Having good contact information here makes that all possible. So how we set this up is relatively critical in my opinion. If we come back out of the profile section, one of the most important aspects of this is adding an ag class. I say this is important because you cannot have an AET record book or an ag science record book unless you are enrolled in an ag class. And AET recognizes your start date of your projects as the very first day of that very first class that you take. Now, as you are future teachers, you will go in here and populate these classes for your students. What you will do is you'll go in and say, okay, I teach animal science, and Dr. Hannegriff, he teaches ag business management and marketing. That was back in the 2014 school year. If you have a student that says, oh, you know what, I'm in Mr. Lund's second period animal science class, they're going to come over here and select this. Now that student has that class selected. If they have more than one class, they select more than one class. And they can do that for each year that they are in their your Ag Ed program. Ultimately, that very first class is really critical to make sure that the record books are starting from the right point. Okay, so from this point, we can see here that the start date is 9/1/2014. So for this student, R. Lund, myself, in the class taught by R. Lund, our first date possible is September 1st of 2014. All right. The other things in the profile that I would encourage you to look at is also in these career connector sections over here. You can have your students do some of these different career finder type activities to help them start thinking about careers. In this middle section here, we can see you can also get to your experience manager right here. But here are where we put in our leadership activities, FFA offices, committee memberships, and you can also get a link right to your judging card event results. And then also over here, I'd like to draw your attention on managing your resume. This is a kind of a nice feature of the AET. Once you start doing and putting in all these different activities that you've completed as a student or your students have completed, it will actually populate a resume for them. It gives a nice idea for when your students say, I've done nothing, and you kind of chuckle to yourself and you say, nothing, huh? Well, let's go back and look at AET. If you've used AET appropriately, and every time they've gone to a district camp, district leadership event, a district CDE section or area, different area events, they put them into their resume section, pretty soon you'll see that, or your students will see, they have a relatively lengthy resume even when they leave high school. So do check that out. Okay. So hopefully by now you have been able to figure out how to create a new project. Okay. This is where we're going to add that new project. And today, or this module, we're actually going right through here, right? This is our new AET project, and this one is going to be that placement. Now, we are going to use 3 projects that are all related to one job. And so be cautious and make sure we get this set up correctly. If you have questions on how to set up this 3-part project, please let me know. And I will be happy to guide you through it. Then you will find down here that you have the different entries that I expect you to make, especially in your SAE plan. And then further on down here we have financial entries, and then we also have journal entries. So on these entries that have ... after them, most of them, please fill in the rest. That's an indication that I'd like you to fill in the rest, provide that example for this project. If there are any questions this week, please do not hesitate to email me, and I hope you have a great week and we have a better weekend in football this next weekend. Talk to you later.